Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. New tonight, Brandon Durst, the superintendent of the West Bonner School District, says he is still in charge even after the Idaho State Board of Education says he is lacking the requirements to be certified. Durst spoke to our Kyle Simchuk in Priest River tonight.
The state of Idaho will not fund an unqualified or uncertified superintendent position, so a large chunk of Durst's $105,000 annual salary would likely have to come out of the district's general fund. Tonight, a lot of parents asking him how he justifies collecting a paycheck when the district is already strapped for cash. Tonight's West Bonner School Board meeting was abruptly canceled when trustee Troy Reinbold didn't show up. Voters recalled 2 other board members last August, and there weren't enough present to conduct business.
You know, people have sometimes legitimate reasons for not being in meetings, sometimes they don't, and I don't know.
It would have been the first board meeting since the Idaho Department of Education determined Brandon Durst is unqualified to be a certified superintendent. But Durst told us he still is the superintendent.
Yes.
Right now?
Yep.
Even though the State Board of Education, you're still...
They don't make the law. They aren't the law. They're not the law. That's what I'm saying. If they get an order from the court, that'd be a different matter, but they don't have one.
Durst stuck around and took questions from angry citizens who realized the district, not the state, will end up paying his 6-figure salary. He claims he brings added value to struggling West Bonner.
The salary you're paying me is a pittance to the savings you're going to have in the long run. That's the argument that I would make.
Mr. Durst is taking credit for hiring 32 people when we had 37 leave because he got hired. That's not credit he should be given.
Ann Yount is a Priest River City Council member and hopes to fill one of the vacant school board positions.
We have children we need to think of. Our school district is a mess, and we need to get it repaired.
Durst still thinks he can fix the district's budget and academic issues, but many parents and teachers are not convinced.
I came here to do the right thing for the students in this district, and I'm going to continue to do that.
In Priest River, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Meantime, the race for Spokane mayor is heating up. In a little more than a month, voters will decide if Nadine Woodward or Lisa Brown will lead the city. Today, Woodward went on offense, condemning Lisa Brown, claiming that she supports so-called safe parking as a homelessness solution, meaning the use of parking lots as a place to stay in cars overnight. Brown says the mayor's claims are false. She says she does not want camping in parking lots, but does want safe places for transient people to go.
She wants people to be able to legally set up camp in dozens of parking lots like this one across our city and live in them.
What the mayor is trying to scare people by saying that somehow parking lots would be taken over by camping. And I think most people think of that as living in tents.
We reached out to the city's Housing and Human Services Department to find out just how many people are living in Spokane out of their cars. We are still waiting to find out if that data is available. In anticipation of November's election, we are hosting a mayoral debate right here on KREM 2, so be sure to tune in on October 26th at 7 p.m. to watch incumbent Nadine Woodward and challenger Lisa Brown discuss hot-button issues before you cast your vote. All right, now to weather. We saw rain for the first time in a while today. It looks like it won't be the last time we'll see that rain. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy DeGue to find out more. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, I don't think we're done with the rain from this storm just yet either. Now, when it comes to our temperatures, we sit at 50 degrees right now. A little bit of cloud cover overhead has it feeling quite nice, but for some reason it kind of smells like fall out there. I don't know the science behind why it does, but it just does in my mind. Let's talk rain though. All of those showers have kind of worked their way a little bit farther south along with the progression of that low. Notice some of those showers, I would say kind of this band a little bit farther out to the east, moving through Wallace as we speak. That looks like it doesn't have enough oomph to get up and over the mountains, unlike what the forecast models might suggest. So I think a lot of this activity winds up staying a little bit farther to our south. Eventually we see wind pick up a little bit, and that's taking us through tomorrow. And most of that moisture stays a little farther south. Some forecast models suggest a few stray showers throughout the day, but to me, all of that easterly progression kind of calls it a chance of showers. We'll see that chance tomorrow. Friday, dry back out, and by Saturday, warmer, but even then, still not quite 70.
Yeah, pretty close, Jeremy. Thank you very much. New tonight, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office arrested a 14-time convicted felon after deputies say they found him inside a stolen car. Deputies say they drove past the car yesterday morning and noticed 30-year-old Nicholas Haven slumped over in the front seat. When they approached Haven, he ran, they say, but he tripped and fell and was taken into custody. Inside that stolen Honda, deputies say they found suspected fentanyl pills and a loaded handgun. Haven was booked into the Spokane County Jail on multiple charges. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. The Washington State University Academic Student Employees Union is filing an unfair labor practices suit against the university. The union claims the university is not negotiating properly over health insurance, affordable health care being one of the reasons that union was formed in the first place. Bargaining began back in February. The union claims it also has not reached an agreement with the university on wages and student fees. The dog that was shot by Spokane police while he was chasing a suspect last night has died. According to SPD, while police were serving an active warrant, a dog bit an officer in the leg. The officer then shot the dog. The suspect was arrested on a warrant for escape community custody for a previous assault charge. He is now facing additional charges for possessing a gun and a controlled substance. He appeared in court earlier this afternoon. A Spokane woman accused of lighting trees in the West Hills on fire last month is now facing charges for 5 other fires at the Dishman Hills Conservancy. Vicki Smith was arrested in Western Washington back on August 10th for starting fires in the West Hills of Spokane. Smith says she set the fires to send a message about homelessness. Her trial date has been set for November 13th. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Well, one of the only women's shelters in Spokane is experiencing a COVID-19 outbreak. The Hope House shelter has stopped welcoming women needing shelter for the past 2 weeks now. Volunteers of America says they have been turning away 2 to 3 women a night. They also say the outbreak is unfortunate, but they are confident they'll get right back on track.
It's a huge relief to know that we can keep our doors open to services that have been needed in this community for over 20 years. And up until the outbreak, we were pretty much at capacity every night. So we're just hoping to get those numbers back up and take care of women and get them housed.
Volunteers of America says anyone turned away from the Hope House is given options for other shelters that they can go to. Meantime, COVID-19 cases have been on the rise in Washington, and starting next week, you will be able to get 4 free COVID tests from the government. The Department of Health and Human Services is reopening its website, covidtests.gov, on September 25th. It comes as COVID cases are on the rise nationwide, and many of the previous tests that were given out have now expired. Households can order 4 free tests to be delivered in the mail. And on the west side of the state, even as cases rise, Governor Jay Inslee's office says there are no plans to reinstate mask mandates. There's even a county taking it one step further. Lewis County passed an anti-mask mandate. This exempts the county's 600 employees from any future mask mandates. Meantime, in national news, a potentially life-changing announcement from the Pentagon today as the Department of Defense launched a new outreach campaign for veterans who are discharged because of their sexual orientation. Now, military records will be reviewed to ensure those who were denied honorable discharge will be acknowledged, something many LGBTQ vets say was a confusing and emotionally taxing process.
It hurt because my country's telling me I'm not good enough to serve because of who I love. Not because of anything else, just because of who I love.
In a statement, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin vowed to make the review process, quote, more accessible and efficient, and today launched the webpage with resources dedicated to LGBTQ+ veterans.
This climate crisis is a fossil fuel crisis. This climate crisis persists.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom received applause as he called out oil companies at today's Climate Ambition Summit at the UN. Only leaders who came with concrete action plans to address the climate crisis were given the opportunity to speak. Missing from the podium at the climate meeting, the presidents of the United States and China, the 2 countries which emit the most carbon dioxide.